So here she is. From the community post, I think only 2 of you said it looks too far gone, and I do agree with you, but they have kept it for me, and it's got a lot of history. So I just pulled on the fan there. I don't know if the belt was stretching, but I think it moved. And the engine's, it's an L4 Perkins, the mighty Percodyne, but I don't know, that doesn't look good. But anyway, we can flush it and see what does happen. Parts are still readily available for them. Bearco and a few mobs in Queensland do spares for these. So it's a shame the bonnet's missing, but it was part of a Bullens Brothers circus, so it used to go around on the road. They'd drive it on the road, following the travelling circus around and unloading tents and whatever they had to with it. So it's got a lot of history here, and one day when we start up the F10 Volvo out the front, I'll do an interview with one of the Bullens blokes himself, and I'll ask him a bit about this as well as that Volvo. But I believe she got away on one of the blokes. That steering wheel's bent there. He was pulling that hard on it, pushing the brake pedal down. I think that is the case with that. I have heard that. Tractors don't have real good brakes, and they use Chamberlain because they had a road speed on them greater than in most other tractors. So and a huddle seat as well, strongly built, Australian made. So got a post driver on the back for the big circus tents. One of the biggest things getting old tractors like this is if the tyres are rooted, it's hardly worth it. In this case they are, but if you got good tyres on an old machine like this, half your battle's won. You can always get the engine going, but tyres are so hard to get and they're so expensive for something that just sits around. So only got, I think they're 1020s or something on the front. They're just off little international trucks or 1800, whatever they are. 920s probably. The back probably 18428 maybe. Anyway, I'll probably have some on an old wreck at home. Whether it was worth getting or not, I don't know, but it sort of looks good, and just with tyres on it, make it look a hell of a lot better. And then we'll see if the engine goes. If the engine goes, everything else is going to work, so apart from the hydraulics. But these pumps are readily available on eBay too. You could adapt anything to it. As long as some new hoses and that, it would be a usable thing.
He's Mira.
sure if you can see in there. Probably can't. It is in gear, so we're going to try and pop it out of gear, then we're going to see if she spins. If it does spin, I'm going to try and start it up. Okay, so we got it in neutral. Now we're going to see if it moves. This sat there for, I believe, over 40 years, so see what happens. Well, she is moving. The engine's not locked. I don't know if it could be the hydraulic pump or I don't even know where that would be. This is running out of the transmission.
Hydraulic tank over this side. Pumps in.
That's unbelievable. The engine's not tight.
Not tight.
No. We're going to try and pop the injectors out of it to get some lubricant in the cylinders before we wind it any further. That was just to see if it was locked, so.
Is that far enough or will it come completely off?
Far enough. Did you see the pipe turning with it? Oh, that one's broken off. If you get on eBay tonight on the lounge, get some parts for her. Well, just free that up. It's come out of that tube, so I won't need that. That one's come off too, but it's free.
I can't do that one.
Hmm? First casualty. It's expected, I suppose, when there's that much stuff piled up on them. I think it'll be this easy. Okay, another blow down. Hardest part now will be getting that broken stud out, but I can drill that and I can do whatever it takes to get that out. So, I mean, they don't look terrible. There's a bit of rust there where they go into the head, but the tips certainly aren't rusty at all, which means there's no water in that cylinder. Okay. Might make a bit of a mix-up, a bit of oil and diesel or something. Diesel's not really, I know people fill things up with diesel, but it's not a penetrant, it's only really a lubricant, so ideally you'd need a drum of WD or something like that to tip down there that will penetrate those rings, but they're all moving, so I think we only need some diesel will just help it lubricate the bores as well as clean any grime out of those rings. It might help them free up, it mightn't do anything, but certainly going to be better than being dry. So we'll do that now. We'll fill those up and we might put a tub under the sump and drop that. I've just gone live this morning. I've done a live stream for the first time and it went well. Had quite a few viewers, more than I thought. So in that process, it went for an hour and 20 minutes or something, and in that time I'd done a bit of work to this, so we have skipped ahead a little bit. First of all, what we did, I took the sump plug out, like I mentioned before, and it was a little bit of water came out, but it was a lot of water came out, but no oil, so it was that gluggy. There's an inspection cover on the oil pan and the pickup screen, so I've since washed all that out. There's still a bit of sludgy stuff in there I can't get out because there's a baffle in the sump, but it's, you know, with new, I'm going to put some fresh oil in it, some lower grade stuff that I've got here, and if it does go, get all that warm and drop it again, and that'll eventually all come out or get caught in the filter if we change that. So that's ready to go back on. I've just got to clean up the surface where it bolts to. I have the engine spinning fine now. It was only going, I don't know, 40 or 50 degrees either way and stopping, so I found that one of the lifters has seized in the bore and was holding a valve down, so push rod was tight like it was up on the cam load, but it wasn't. So when the piston was coming up, I could see it flexing this valve, so I've just relaxed the rocker shaft and she goes right round. Now you can see that push rod's a little bit bent there from, I was trying to lightly tap it, or from turning it, so something's loaded that up, which doesn't matter. Can't really get anything in here. Just want to cut that down to a level surface so I can drill it. So I just shocked it down there with a dolly and a hammer, just to shock the thread to loosen it all up. And I thought I'll just tap a single hex socket over it and see what happens. And it actually came out, which is going to save a lot of work. So just where I mushroomed it over, hitting it with the dolly, the socket cut its own path onto it without you hurting the socket either, and it's come out. So there we go there. Just identify that thread, and I think we'll just use a bolt as long as it's the right depth, unless I can find a stud, which I doubt. So that's put us ahead quite a bit. Thinking I was going to have to do a lot more work to that, but I'm not now. It's come out lovely, so I won't touch that other one. It's in there, and then they're not overly tight to start with, so I'm not worried about it being a bit loose, a bit rusted, I mean. So we've got to free these lifters up, whichever ones that are stuck, and we've got to make sure all these little oil feed holes are clear. It lubricates these rockers on that shaft. I did soak this last night in just a diesel and a ATF mixture. I think they were all moving before. Really need to get the starter working so I can bump it over and see what valves are working. It's hard with that bar on the front of the crank. So what I might do is put the plate on the bottom of the sump, get some oil in it, and try and get the starter to work if all these lifters are moving. Okay, so we've got the plate on the bottom. I didn't video that under there. Try and tip a little bit of this oil into it now. It's probably about 10 litres. Sure how much it'll hold. If it's over or under, it's not really going to matter. It's not going anywhere. We just want to run her and flush her. And yeah, she's right on the full mark. Probably still going up though with it running down in there. It's certainly enough. Now I don't know. I've touched the filter because one, I haven't got one, and two, it would have been turned off, so it hasn't yet sucked the water up into it unless it found its own way in there over the years. So it's pretty clean really. So that's not great by any means, but it's not water either. There's no water that's gotten in that. So I'm going to put it back in because I haven't got anything else, and I want it to catch all the sludge. So we'll see if she builds up pressure and I'll be able to get one. Doesn't look like anything special or unique, but I'll certainly get one if it's going to start. So I've just got a 12-volt battery sitting in it. I wanted to stand here and just tap the starter with a button I've got and just make sure all those valves are returning lightly, tap the lifters down and try and get all that working rather than use a bar. I know it's a bit dangerous if one hits, but it's a lot of work with that frame on the front there, just with a socket. And I've only got an inch socket that fits, and I've only got a 3/4 ratchet with no adapter, so it's hard resetting it all. But we can just try and see if this starter works, which doesn't look like it. I'd say all the brushes are. You go straight onto the motor too. Nothing's happening there either, so I'm going to have to pop that off and pull it apart. It'd be full of water like all the rest of them that sit around. So that's the next stage. Okay, so my dad's gone down to pull the starter off. Oh, I've got a David Brown 1200 down the back, which come from the same organisation. I got it years ago, but just as they were cleaning up, I slowly brought them home as they were given to me. But you can see in here that that's all held water. That being the bottom of the starter, that band has held water in there, and it's rusted some of the brush holders out, and one of the springs is completely gone. So, well, there it is there, it just fell out, but that's meant to be a coil spring or what's left of it. So looked like the starter on the David Brown was nearly identical, opposite side of the engine of course, but not sure that will matter. But anyway, it'll have the same parts if not. But so I'll keep pulling this one apart.
That one out. You can see that rust, what I was worried about, that's why I didn't want to get it too much. And, it's probably a miracle it did come out. That one's not as bad, that was on top of the starter, so again, something's happened. That band held all the water in, and she just all lay on the bottom of the starter. Pretty sure that bolt is just a terminal onto that earth. I don't think it's holding anything. I've already been to my mate once this week, Brian, to get a brush for the solenoid on the Sami tractor, on the Centauro, a V4 one, so depending on how this David Brown one looks when he gets it back up here, I may have to see him again. He's only up the road, but I don't really like bothering him with this old stuff. If the bearing's locked up or the brushes have got hold of it. As you can see, I had no luck of getting that to work with the battery, but you never know your luck, it's worth trying, so. Flick that brush out.
Okay, so I've got it back to a stage where we can, if we get an end cap and some springs, we can put that back together. That's all cleaned up, ready to go. So I'll see what Dad brings back off this other one. Okay, this is out of a David Brown 1200, I think I said. I'd say it's identical. Both Pommy machines, both British machines. So using the Lucas starter, I think. So one's Perkins, one's obviously David Brown. So might just pop this off again, just see what that covers like. If we can just graft that onto that one, and I think we'll be in business. Look at that, that's just beautiful. Not a lot of rust sticks to these brushes because they're carbon, so just give them a clean off and when they slide and contact or whatever they've got to do, and I'm sure they'll be fine. Okay, so that actually fits. Starting to squeeze all that. All that diesel out. I've gone round a full turn with the bar, but now she's squeezing it out with the. Even the hydraulic pump's working. She's starting to bloody pump oil out of that control valve over there. Give her another wind. I've just diverted the hydraulic feed line back to the tank, so it does leak, but at least it's not pumping out all over the step. Okay, I'll put the injectors back in it. All I really need now is a fuel supply once these are done up. I'll put these back in. All I really need then is a fuel supply. So I've cut the lines going to the old tank, which I won't use anymore. If I ever do get it going properly, I'll probably run a different tank anyway. Okay, all we need now is a fuel supply. Hopefully that old lift pump works. Okay, so I've got a drum of diesel. Cut those lines, like I said, going to that old tank, because that'll never be used. There's no bottom left in it. I can just clamp a rubber hose to those to whatever tank I put on it later. So I've got fuel to the filter. Now I'm just trying to fill the pump up. So I pressurised the drum and it's not coming out there. So what I might do is wind it over and see if that lift pump does work. It's been submerged in diesel this whole time, so there's a chance it's still going to do the job that we need it to do right now. So injectors are back in it, like you saw. It's going to have more compression now, so I don't know what the starter's going to do, but we need fuel to come out here before we can do anything else. So we'll see how we go. That's bled to the injector pump. And I don't think we've got to supply a pressure from that lift pump, so whether it's stuck or it's just dried right out not doing anything, I don't know. Experience of these I've had, they do stick out. Cam pushes them out and then they stay there, but we'll see. I think it was stuck. It should be pulsating out here if that's working. I really think that's working. we're just going to try and get fuel. We got fuel to the top of the lift pump. Had a couple of stuck valves in the lift pump. I'm going to see if it comes out the injector lines now.
That one's good. So it'll lift it from here.
Well, it's going through the lift pump. Give her a shot of these and save that start.
Worked right.
It's about to go.
Lovely.
Okay everyone, it's 2 weeks later. Last weekend I had 2 full days, so I couldn't come back near it. So I think the last episode we had fuel coming out of one injector line, and it sounded like it was chuffing a little bit, like there's a valve open. So if we do get all injectors bled, it sounds like it may only be trying to start on 3 cylinders, but that should clear up once it warms up and blows everything out of it. I'd say that chuff's going to clear, unless it's the reason it was parked up, I'm not sure. So we did try this stuff, Start Your Bastard. A few of you said, is that an actual product? We thought it was just a name I made up, but yes it is. You can buy it here, but in my opinion it's absolute rubbish. Newline is a good brand, but I've never had much success on this stuff. When we're trying to start the Transstar there, this wouldn't even make the starter go quicker. Just, I know we shouldn't be using it on that, but just to save the starter trying to get fuel up to it without a primer bulb, we were giving it a bit of this to save the batteries and starter, but it wouldn't even help. But then we went and got some of this stuff, Aerostart, which is the best you can buy. If something doesn't start on this, it's got other issues. So as soon as we give the 871 in that a bit of a squirt with it, away it went. So we're going to try that on this one now. There's a few old engines here I've never had success with that Start Your Bastard, but this is always good. So if this doesn't start on that, it's either spinning too slow or there's other issues. It's got no compression or something. So we've charged the batteries again. I think that's why we stopped last time we tried. So we've got 2 charged batteries here now, and if they run out, we'll go and pull them out of something else just to see what happens. So had a play off camera just to try and bleed it up without taking too much battery time and everything up. These 2 here have got fuel, these 2 haven't. I just pulled this one off camera again, popped the delivery valve out, and it was seized. When we popped it up, all that pressure had built up and it let go. So I've had a fine bit of paper in there and cleaned it all up. I'll do this one on camera, see if it does the same thing. All that pressure's gone though, so I think it'll be gone. Unless it's accumulated in each one. But see, that valve there's tight, it's stuck. That should be very free, and see the fuel that just released. This one would have let the pressure out, so that's still tight there. Would have been just a bit of moisture in the fuel or something that done it, or sitting there for 40 years. That's all it took. That's free now, so it should have 4 cylinders worth of fuel now. It's providing all those injectors are working, which I didn't test on the machine, but they all had fuel in them, so I was assuming they were right. But seeing this is locked up, they may be as well, but we'll try. We'll see what happens now, and if not, we'll have to test the injectors on that tester I've got. Dad's holding the camera here. Just leave them loose so we can bleed the lines, tighten her up down here. Okay, they should all squirt now. I'll wind it over while I've got the camera on it. There was a couple of pistons stuck up inside the pump too. I've since freed them up. They pushed up with the cam, but we didn't follow it back down, so they appear to be working now. So we're just going to give it another go. I've got a feeling about it. That's why I put the camera back on. Just locking it up. Better than it was. Better than it
bottom. Oh.
Is that what went bad? I'm sure.
Yeah.
Now it's over pressurising the oil system, so you can see here on my new floor, she keeps blowing that tin lid there on that oil filter housing. It just keeps blowing that open, and got me straight in the eyes before. It's that much pressure in there, just blew it open and got me. I'm a bit blurry at the moment, but anyway, she's all running. It's obviously got pressure. It's getting to the top, so I don't know if the bit of that old filter there blew a bit of that into the journal and into the gallery and blocked up, or having water in the sump, the relief spring and everything's not working. So I did this off camera because it was filthy, but I dropped the inspection plate off the oil pan there. It's got a row of 6 nuts around it, and what that does is give you access to the pickup screen for the oil pump and the pressure relief valve. Pressure relief valve is like a regulator valve too, so it regulates the pressure of that oil pump, and that ball in that was rusted, and the spring was full of gunk, and the actual holes that relieve it back to the sump were blocked, so it was going to maximum pressure, that pump. So I'm assuming that's what's wrong with it, because I did find a problem. So what we're going to do now is just crank it back up. It's getting late here, but I'll see if she goes again, and that'll finish this video for Will It Start, and then if we do any more to it, it'll be a fix-it video. And what I'd actually like to use this, if I can get a back wheel. That rim there is rusted, but the rest of it, these are 920s, which I've got ample amounts of, so the front ones aren't a problem. I've got two 28-inch tyres for the back. I just need one rim, so I might even get them off that John Deere, which are 30s, but I might be able to make them adapt. So I'm now going to pass this to my wife, and I'm going to climb up on the trailer here and see if we can see what she does now. It'll start again. It's just a matter of if that oil filter will hold that pressure now. Okay, welcome back everyone. Steve's Place Down Under. Today we unloaded this Chamberlain. I didn't video it because it was fairly sketchy how we did, and I thought to cut back on the comments. I took a few photos for those of you who are interested, but I wasn't going to put them on the video. So plus I needed to concentrate on what we'll do, and we had a forklift either side, but she was pretty hairy and the comments would have been out of control, so I just sort of left that alone, and we'll start it from here. But so we've got it back in the shed. I thought if I put it down the back we're not going to work on it, so we put her in here, got the motor going. Obviously I've got the back wheel off. This was sitting for over 40 years in the one spot, so well, when I say one spot, it was sitting outside for 40 years. 22 years ago a mate of mine towed it out of the scrub. Another bloke was going to do something with it, and then it sat there again. So it's been at least 22 years in the one spot, and where she sat on this rim here with the tyre flat, she's a bit rotten. So I have chased around for one of these. I haven't looked too hard. Only when I say chase, it's only been a few emails to people that sell the Chamberlain parts and whatever, but I haven't ring around anywhere, just that. But I thought if I can get another rim, they only run sort of 18 pound or something, these wheels, so if I can cut this off and then stitch another bead on there, and then they're going to have water anyway, so you're not running big pressure, so I'd be quite confident of that. The rest of the rim's fine. We've got the tyre off, had wheel weights on it, there they are there. They're about 60 or 70 kilo each of those. This one's still got them on, I'll show you it. 16/9/28 tyres, so 28 inch. I was actually working on this yesterday, and the bloke next door, who I'm getting the Oliver and the other Inter off, I got a text come through while I was working on it, and I thought, you must be watching me. Yeah, but he heard it crank up, and he said, I've got two 16/9/28 tyres here if you want them. And I didn't know it was him to start with till I scrolled down, and I didn't have his number saved, but that was a blessing in disguise. I've got some 28s, but they're a lot narrower. But these are, what he's got is exactly the same that's on it. Different tread, but the same size. So I'll go and see him the Savo for them, and I've got to pay him for the Oliver and the Inter that I got. That'll be another episode for you, those of you who haven't seen that. And the fronts are 920s, so probably not a lot more I can do to the back until I get another rim similar size that I can cut up or make fit or whatever I'm going to do there. So I've got another mate of mine, he's got an old Acco that he took these off, so these are 920s. They're on split rims, so these are tubes. He put radials on them which are 11R 22.5, so which will fit the same spider. So he took these off. He brought 6 of them here for me, and a few other blokes got a few of them too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the tyres and tubes off those and put on the front of this one. So those are split rims as well. Whenever you undo those nuts, these must be deflated, because that can nearly kill you. I know a bloke that it near happened to. So to pull that wheel off, you either take the wheel bearing itself out, like the hub nut, or to get the tyre off on there, you've got to deflate it, which it has been for 40 years, and then undo that ring will come off the outside. Same on this side. So I think the goal today is to get 2 of them on it. So it's about, I don't know, probably 46 or 47 degrees out here today, and centigrade. So I thought, why not? What a perfect day to do some tractor tyres. Not bad in under here.
That one. Alright. Hold it. Alright.
Break that, it's only cast. Still too close. Paint some of that stuff on them. Alrighty, we've got one pumped up and on. I didn't film the rest of it, I just forgot to, we just got carried away, and that's pumped up. It's got about 50 pound in it, which is enough for the time being till we try and lift with it. It might be a bit soft, but and we'll try and do the other side. It's getting on in the Arvo a bit, but we'll try and do one more. And pretty big step unloading it and doing these. That one's got bigger bolts on it, so I'll get some more stuff for that one. So we're going to use a New Holland to front wheel on the New Holland just to walk around the edge of that, push it off the bead,
tools.
Where are you at?
Just go, I'll find it.
Grease all that up, soap it up.
Where's the water coming from?
I don't know. Might have been in the tube. Probably in the band.
Around the tyre.
That was the flat one, so I just hope it's... Good morning, everyone. I had no luck getting, this is the following weekend, I've had no luck getting a rim for this Chamberlain. I've sent a few emails, made a few calls, but a lot of people can offer a 28-inch rim to fit that same tyre, but the centre's fully welded in these. It's not like the Massey Ferguson ones where they're bolted in like that. So I thought, now this wheel here is off the TE20 that I got, the Massey Ferguson, the grey Ferguson I've got. I'm going to buy some new rims for this. They're readily available on eBay. I think they're 240 each. I might just buy one a month and then we'll do a episode on that because I've got tyres to fit it. So I'm not wasting this rim. I would rather repair the Chamberlain one with this because the Chamberlain ones aren't available, then I'll buy a new one for this, as I said, because it's wrecked too. But so I need 4 rims for that grey Ferguson. So yesterday afternoon I pulled one off it. It's got basically the same profile. It's out a little bit, but that certainly won't matter. I'll fold it and bend it and grind it so there's no sharp edges for the tube to rub on. So I've cut that out. You can see how bad this wheel was. This is the Chamberlain one. So it's sat for over 50 years, or over 40 years, approaching 50 years. 22 years in one spot, which is where this happened, and another 20 odd before that. But it was towed there, so it never started. I've sewn it into here, but I cut the Ferguson one out first thinking that it was long enough, but it wasn't, because the rust just kept going, so I just have to put a bit more of a patch in there. I know this is fairly rough, but I don't think 15 or 18 pounds going to blow that apart either. If it does, there's a guard there, but I can't see it, plus it'll have water in it, so it's welding pretty good. There's still a few thin spots which won't matter. She's burnt through in some of the spots, which is good, but I'll grind that back and then run a bead this side too, and then I'll patch that up. So when parts are hard to get, you gotta use what you've got. So that's what's going on at the moment. I think this side here it's okay, this one. Okay, I finished this wheel. Again, I'm fairly confident with it. It's not going to, I don't think 14 or 16 PSI is going to blow that out. All I've got to do now is put a sandpaper or flapper wheel on, get rid of all the sharp edges, get rid of this rust here so it doesn't rub through the tube, and we'll make sure the brake drum's free, make sure that wheel spins before we put it on, because now's obviously the time for that. I'll forklift down, pick these tyres up. We just wheel them through that gate there from the bloke next door. We've got two for the Oliver here, 23 126s. They're pretty good tyres compared to what's on it, so we'll fit them one day when we get it through the fence. And these are all 16 9 28s, so I'll probably put those two on it there. And I'll pick two good ones anyway, and I'll have two spares. Okay, it's the following week. We've got one done. We had a few people around for Dad's birthday the other night, and we end up just, while we were drinking, putting the tyre on the rim and putting it on. So poor things got carried away. What we got up to, we took the other tyre off as well. I just got a needle gun all that now. Get all that rust off, and then we'll mount the tyre, actually patch the tube. So this is the original tube that was in there. So it was flat for all those years, and it still seems okay. It's got a bit of rust stuck to it, which I'll scrape off, but apart from that, it's all right. It's been up for a week now. Still fairly firm, so pretty confident in that. And we'll put it back on and put the engine back together and see if we can't drive it. she is. Front ones are still holding wind. A couple of weeks now, they haven't sagged any. That back one does go down with that bit suspect looking tube we just put in there. If she loses any wind, I'll just get another one. They're $120 or something. It doesn't sound much, but when you're working on all these tractors, it all adds up. You try and get them going on the cheap, so they all do go, but some things just can't be helped. Like this side here, it was had it, but the other side I think it'll work fine.